spell check.
Yeah.
Spell check.
Good morning, everyone.
Best plumber now?
Yeah, we're not the best plumber, we're the best plumbers. All right, so you guys also notice on the right-hand side, we have the little Apex chat thing down there, where, you know, you can basically start a chat with them. So the site, I mean, they made our logo better, they did all the spelling things. That thing keeps moving up, it'll move up and down, kind of to catch your eye so that you can,
To know you never go away.
right. So, I still haven't gotten, I got a few pictures from Mike from the Garland job, I think. If anybody has any pictures, that's the one thing I have really left to add in here. There's a couple little minor things that we're gonna adjust, and then we're ready to roll it. I mean, it's pretty much, other than putting a few pictures in, so if I give them the pictures the next couple of days, next week we can, hopefully, maybe by the end of the week, we can start this thing.
I got
So-
a couple of pictures, because at the Sextons, we have everything all tarped up real nice, got the floor covered and
Perfect.
everything. I'll snap that picture today for you.
Okay, and then same thing, Sarah, when you're doing a job, a repipe, a reroute, I know you got some, that one's coming up next week now, right? I mean, you know, just, we already have, you know, we have a couple of HVAC pictures, but we don't really have any plumbing, not
Right.
much.
Like a tankless or a halo,
anything,
we
yeah.
should be sending that over, water
I can get a
heater.
picture of the one at Sexton
Yeah,
that you did.
let's
I'll get
do
a couple
that.
pictures of that.
Yeah, so if you guys, even if you guys, you know, look at it this way, even if it's not the work that we're doing currently, but we've been back to a customer that we've done work
Take a
before,
picture of that.
take a picture of something, yeah, take a picture of a water heater, take a picture of, you know, we installed this faucet, whatever, angle stuff, that doesn't matter, just something plumbing. And
I have the
something
mini split
HVAC.
for Vanguard too.
Perfect. And a variety of things, if you happen to go to a steam generator or, you know, a steamer for one of those bathrooms like that, that Kevin's been doing, same thing, just get some pictures of some stuff on your phone, just send them to me on my phone, and then I'll download them and then I'll send them more pictures, so that'll help. If you guys wanna take something of someone working on your job, you say someone, they look, you know, somewhat decent, you can do a little pose or something that where you're
Don't
taking a
even
picture of
freaking
it.
think about it.
He's gotta use the cat saw today. There's it.
All right.
Jesse on the HEPA saw.
You're thinking about wanting to be in the hole.
So,
Oh.
Yeah.
guys, today's Friday, so remember we talked about it with the uniforms. I'm already seeing some of the old uniforms still on. If you have the dark blue name tag, those gotta get turned in. Get the ones that have the white on white with the black lettering, which are the new ones, that should match the actual new patches. All the other stuff has to get put in so that they can swap them out and do a quick turnaround on us. Okay?
And they pick up on Tuesdays, right?
Yes, they'll be here Tuesday morning, and we want to make sure that we get those things swapped out. If you don't do them, then you're going to keep wearing the old same uniforms. Okay, so we're trying to get that updated. And I need to get your sizes, Ralph.
Sure.
So I know you said extra large for a shirt, but
Yeah.
for pants we need to get that
Okay.
done too. So like maybe on Monday morning we'll do that
Sure.
if you know what they are, and then
Sure,
we'll get you measured and all that.
sure.
Okay, what is this? Is it cloud? Who cares?
Was there any
Oops.
thoughts on actually getting some more screen print shirts?
Yes, I'm waiting to hear from the guy on pricing is all. And I've given him the parameters of them, but that's, my goal is to get the t-shirts that we can wear underneath these, take our shirt uniforms off, wear those while we're working, and then put these back on, kind of save
Yeah.
ourselves from getting them all jacked up and everything since they're white.
Because these are, they're sold at Walmart, they're like the jersey, the breathing, or the cool
Dry
shirts.
fit.
Yeah, dry fit.
Those are legit.
If we can have an option for those too, because
Okay.
I'll definitely pay a couple of bucks to
Yeah,
to go to one of these
Nice
shirts.
ones, nice ones.
yeah, all right, yeah, I got one from AC Pro the other day that was really, really nice. I was surprised how nice the material is. It's really soft. I wore it at home the other day. I was like, man, this is a nice
Yeah, when
t-shirt.
you just want to wear it.
Yeah, it's like, I like this t-shirt. I don't care that it says AC Pro, I just like the way it feels, you know?
Right.
Flip
So-
it inside out.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really like those dry fits.
Okay, so I wanted to just, there's obviously we have to finish up Sexton, we have other things going on, but I want to make sure that regarding payroll stuff, I want to go back just one more time over a couple of little things that are, it makes it challenging for me to do payroll when I have different people putting different things on your timesheets. For an example, so Mike may put on Jesse's timesheet, I'm paying him $20 an hour, but then Jesse doesn't put that I'm making $20 an hour on that job. Because I put in Jesse's first. I put all the hourly guys in first. If you're hourly, I mean, same with Oscar whatever, if you're hourly on these jobs, I put you guys in first because I have to put the purchase order in on that job. So then by the time I get to you, that's already a cost in the job. So then I get Mike's and I'm going, okay, here's Mike's. Oh, he's paying Jesse $20 an hour. Shit. I gotta go back into the system, back into the purchase order, and now I gotta adjust the purchase order so I know what to pay Mike. You see what I mean? So it makes it difficult when I have to go back and forth on things. If you guys are on the same page and you know that Mike's paying you $20 an hour and you work 3 hours, that's the other part of it. He may put 3 hours, you may put 4 hours. Well, what am I paying? Am I paying 4 at 17, because that's what you left it at? Or am I paying 3 at 20? You see what I mean? So it can't be, it's gotta be the same. So you gotta, before you guys leave, and these things need to be done every single day. It's the best way to do it. I can kind of tell who's doing it on a daily basis just by the accuracy of it, compared to when you come back at the end of the week and you try to fill them all out. Because the other thing is some of you guys are missing things like you came here in the meeting, but you start your day at 7:30, so then it's getting charged to the job. Right? I mean, it's a difference. Sarah puts hers out, and I'm not trying to, say, oh, Sarah's better than all of you, but when it comes to filling out her timesheets, she does a better job.
She's accurate. Yeah.
She comes in, she puts 0.5, meeting on Friday, for an example, from 7,
It's like OCD, that's like the
It's
OCD.
yeah, maybe it is, but it's
Yeah.
accurate, and it's easy for me to input it, because it's like, I showed you guys, and I'm gonna show you again one quick time here.
It's like one little point for
You
me
do a
is
class
off,
on
I
how to
get
fill it out?
screwed. I start being like, what's going on here? Where am I? Start
Nothing's
losing it a
real.
little bit, yeah.
Alright,
It's
so,
just OCD, like, shit, weird, I need to do everything.
That's your money.
My girlfriend hates it. She's like, get out of it. Stop moving everything.
this
just
isn't
ways,
one
yeah.
that this is just basically as for you guys to be able to see the,
Oh, there it is.
sometimes these things just bother me because they don't come up right, but. Okay. So, as I told you guys, what I do is, on Monday, for an example, I come into Monday, I put in the first job, and then I put your hours, and if there's any sales, or whatever the sales are and costs. So, what Sarah will do, she'll put in, and I'll put in here, I'll write meeting on here, okay, so I'll type in meeting. Alright, then she says, okay, we were there for half an hour, so, I put in 0.5. Alright, and then that all adds up at the bottom. This is Monday, now she goes to her first job, and it's job, 154, whatever. Alright, then I put in how many hours she was there. Maybe she was there for 3 hours. And let's say she did $1,000, and there was, $50 in parts. Then I go to the next, same on Monday, I would go to the next thing, whatever the job number is. 154, whatever. And then maybe it was just an estimate only, or maybe it was an HPC. If it's an HPC, I put HPC here, because I don't put the hours here for HPC, because that goes on the bottom. So for me, when I go down to the bottom, I say, okay, let's say she was there for 2 hours, she did a water heater flush. I go to the water heater flush, and I put in 2 hours. So her hours are still accounted for, but they go into a different category. They don't go in the regular weekly hours. But I do also keep track of, I know that she did 2 hours here, so she's got 3 plus 2 is 5, and then a half an hour, 5.5. So the next job, she may be working, let's say 4 hours, right? Well, now she's actually over 8 hours, so I'm going to put 3 hours here and then an hour overtime. It calculates everything for me. And I put the job number in there. So, and I do that for every single day. So if you have everything in order, meaning, here's the first thing I did training on today. Here's my next job, my next job, my next job. And then at the end of everything, she has all of her invoices. And they're in order, pretty much. A couple of them out of order, but they're pretty much in order. And they have the PO number on there, or the job number on there. It's really easy for me to look and say, okay, yes, they're in there, they're correct. Because sometimes her amounts, her one flaw on that is her amounts may be wrong on a purchase order.
Right.
She'll put in there, oh, it's $10 for this, and then you get out there and it's $9.67 or $10.22 or whatever. But I can check that. I'm going in there anyway. I'm not opposed to that. But some of you don't even turn in your invoices. So I don't know, you know, I have to wait for then Karina and those guys to go through all those, and then it's a whole different thing. So if you do it in order this way, each by day, jobs, whatever you're doing for the day, it makes it a lot easier. If you put HPC, if you put, same thing on warranty work, if you put warranty on there. And warranty work on your pay sheets, and I'm gonna go into the other form. On your pay sheet, again, it's stupid. Okay, so, if I can just get over a little bit. All right. You don't put your, right here where it says HPC work, no money. If you're doing HPC, that's where you put it. You don't write it on the top of the sheet, HPC work. I don't necessarily, I'm like, not looking for that. So if it's HPC there, if it's warranty work, it goes under warranty hours. So if you have this many hours in warranty, if you don't put it in those paces, if you sold a new HPC, you put it up here, but HPC work, no money, how many hours did you work? Put it there. And remember on this side, when you have the date and the day, that's let's say that you did 2 hours HPC and 2 hours of additional work, right? You're gonna have 2 on Friday, regular hours, 2 in HPC, and then on the bottom where it says total hours, you're gonna have 4. Now I know it's 2 hours here, 2 hours here, total of 4 hours for that job. It's really that easy. If you're putting 4 hours on this side, am I assuming that's 4 hours HPC? It's not helping you guys when that happens, because the HPC you're getting paid $15 an hour. So keep in mind, I mean, it's part of the job. Then when I go into your job, I know exactly what you're working and what you got paid. It's easy to cost the job out when I know the numbers are correct. When I'm guessing like this and I'm trying to say, oh, well, how much was HPC work? Oh, he sold money, so it must not all be HPC. How much is it HPC? Is it an hour? Is it 2 hours? You know, I'm guessing. I'd rather not guess. So it's really easy to fill out as long as you're doing it and keeping it in order. I can zip through payroll, no problem. If not, I'm going back and forth and then trying to redo things, and it makes it really difficult. Okay? Anybody have any questions? So I'm expecting next week's to be better, right? We're going to get better and better every week. Because we get into summer, guys, it's going to get hectic. If you don't do these things every day on every job as you're doing them, it's going to be a mess trying to figure out what you get paid. And then someone comes back and says, oh, I didn't get paid this, I didn't get paid that. And I'm like looking at your sheet, I'm like, well, look how you filled it out. I'm doing the best I can with what you're giving me. You know, and then sometimes somebody's missing a whole day. I'm like, well, did they not work that day? I don't want to have to go through Service Titan and say, okay, did they work? Let me see, do they have any jobs that day? You know, what jobs do they have, and try to guess. I'd rather not do that. Okay? All right.
Is Service Titan capable of producing its own timesheets if everyone was using the program correctly with the dispatch,
Yes.
arrive?
It is.
break?
Service Titan is capable of doing that, but the problem is, the way that it works is it'll keep track of, like if you were to get in here and sign in, you can sign into Service Titan, there's a time card in there. But if you end up going and not 10/7ing and not 10/8ing when you get to the job, if that job is gonna show more hours and you can have less hours in the next job, it's not gonna be accurate that way. So you have to make sure when you get dispatched, you know, you actually get dispatched, meaning in Service Titan, it actually dispatches you. Then you arrive at 10/7 when you're done, or when you go to lunch, same thing. That's another thing, people always miss their lunches, they don't clock out in Service Titan in lunch. So that's the problems that you have with Service Titan. If you don't use it properly 100% of the time, it'll be messed up, and it'll start showing overtime when there's no overtime because you didn't take your lunch, and oh, I did take a lunch, I just forgot to clock out, or whatever. So
we should maybe start working on getting that more efficient, because then you also have a backup time card, like you
well,
said.
yeah, but the thing with Service Titan, I can't tell if you did an HPC, I can't tell if it's warranty, I can't tell.
Right, it's just for the hourly
Right.
accounting.
Exactly, labor also, it's like, what job are they going on, you know, and if one person messes it up, I'll be taking timesheets out on a job, and I'll have 6 timesheets out, trying to figure out everything. So it's not, maybe something we can do down the road, but right now, if we just do it this way, it'll be so much easier.
And could you maybe email us the PDF sheet that you have, that was that commission worksheet? Because
Yeah.
then we can
Your
just
template.
enter it in on here. And then
Which one?
the commission worksheet.
Oh, you mean the,
Yeah.
just that sheet? Oh, yeah, that's no
Because
problem.
then we can just fill this in even on our tablets as we go. For our hourly, you clear a job, it's point click, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, save. And then we've got it saved over for the day.
If you want it that way, I don't
And
care.
there's no, what does this chicken scratch say on here?
Yeah, and writing neat does help too, because I
Yeah.
have, especially when it comes to a
I
6
don't
and a
have
0,
neat.
what's a 6, what's a 0, what's a 5, what's a 6, what's an 8 sometimes, what's a 9.
Because then that also helps you too, because it's legible for you to
Like
read.
spelling stuff wrong. Look at that.
Alright, so,
Some of us have the handwriting of doctors.
Yeah. We're smart.
There we go, it's because we're smart.
because we're smart.
That's the story I'm sticking with.
It's just because I can't spell.
That's what I do.
You need spell check.
I'm super smart, that's what I do.
It's another reason to have it on the template. I can't misspell.
Can't spell, I mean, I'm sure they might.
What's going on in my head, but I can't write.
Alright, Kevin, you have anything you wanted to talk about to the guys and gals?
No, I don't, actually.
Okay. Alright, so I guess that's it. We can go ahead and hit it and get out there and make some money. I was talking, actually before I do that, let me just go into one more little quick thing. I was having a conversation with Joey this morning, and I'm gonna kind of throw it out to everybody here. Some of you guys get this already, some of you may not. If you don't, you will, because obviously we have a couple of newer people. So, being an hourly employee, when you're an hourly employee, typically, the hourly employees don't worry about how long it takes to do something. They can take their time a little more, they can make sure this is a little more precise and figure things out and be a little more, they're not in a hurry to get a job done necessarily. Being a commission employee, if you're a slow, methodical type of person, you gotta make a change. And change is good. I know a lot of us don't like it, but if you want to make money in commission for you and for the company, you've got to be able to get in, get out, get to the next job. You've got to be able to do that. And that's the hardest thing to do for someone, especially they always say you can't teach old dogs new tricks. I've learned a lot of new tricks in my age as I've gotten older. I really have. Because if I learned a long time ago, if I don't learn to change, everybody's gonna pass me by. I'm not gonna be successful in anything I do. I went back to college when I was an adult, and it was the hardest thing, trying to get those study habits. And I went to the nth degree, believe it or not. Like, I was studying every day. I was highlighting things. I read every page of every chapter that I had to read, and highlighted stuff, and took notes, and did all this stuff because I was afraid all these little young whippersnappers are gonna just, I had something to prove to myself too, right? Yeah, whippersnappers.
Whippersnapper.
Youngins.
Yeah.
But I had something to prove to myself, and I wanted to kind of prove to them that I was just as smart as they are and everything else, because they just got out of school where things that we learned years and years ago had, didn't even exist anymore. I mean, things had been changed, and the way they did math had changed. Everything had changed, right? But seriously, believe it or not, math, the way you do math changed from when I was growing up. It really did. We used to look at things and figure them out a different way, and now it's like this whole different
Thing, yeah.
PEMDAS and all this crap. PEMDAS, come on. Who knew what that meant?
Now there's some graph that they use, the little kids, they teach them a
Yeah.
graph. You put your number into a graphing table, and
Yeah,
then
what?
you figure out what 4 times 4 is.
No,
Yeah,
now you just have your
Racking
phone.
table.
Really?
Everyone just has a
I have
phone.
flashcards. We had to sit with a stack of flashcards and go, okay, 1 times 3 is 3. I mean, we had to do that. Now they're just looking
We're
at.
down on the point where you don't need to break it down that
Yeah.
much. It's
And we didn't have computers when I was growing up in high school.
I have-
Kidding me? Computer? What the heck was that?
It was
That's
the
something that the NASA
size
people
of
had.
a room.
That's-
It was a walk-in computer. It wasn't
10 divided by
a
2.
point of use.
They're doing that.
Bottom line is, guys, the bottom line is you've got to be able to change. You got to adapt to the way things change if you plan on being successful in anything you do. And being on commission, you have to be able to move. You have to be able to get done. You can't, even if you have an apprentice. Some people like to say, okay, well, I'm teaching an apprentice. I want to make sure I go over everything in detail and take my time. They're going to have to learn on the fly with you, because if you take too much time teaching somebody, guess what? There's no money in the job for you. There's no money in the job for us. It's all for naught. We're all here to make money. And if you're able to get in and get out of a job and get done and make sure it's clean, you just got to move. You got to sweat. I mean, it's going to take that type of mentality from the moment you get there to the time that you leave. I got to get out. 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 Because if you don't, you're not going to make as much money. And I don't want anybody to be unhappy not making money. We're all here for that purpose. So you've got to train yourself and start getting that mentality. And it's all up here. It really is. Because you guys all have skills, different levels of skills, but you all have skills. Whatever skill you have, you just got to use it to the best of your ability and say, you know what? Yeah, as an hourly employee, I come in, I bid a job for myself, or I bid a job for somebody else, whatever time I take, it takes. But if you have the mentality, if I get done with this job now, I'm going to make more money per hour, basically, and then I can go to the next job, and guess what? Now my day, instead of making $100, I just made $300 or whatever. That's how you got to look at it. So just throwing that in out at you guys, because I know some of you understand it. Some of you are hourly now as helpers and apprentices. You may not get it quite yet. But if someone's teaching you something, the time to ask questions a lot of times isn't always when you're just sitting at their job and interrupting it. Sometimes it's in the truck before and after. Okay, I saw you do this. I saw you do that. How did you do this? Why'd you do this? Why'd you do it that way? And try to learn, on the go as well. Learn as much as you can. Ask questions. Because sometimes when you're in there and you have an apprentice, you don't have the time just to sit there and hold their hand and explain every little detail of everything you did. They're going to be running and getting stuff for you. They're going to be helping you with this and that, paying attention and then asking questions. That's how it starts. And then it's like, okay, now I want you to do it. And there may be some jobs where, hey, I have nothing else going on. I can take a little more time with you today. But in general, to get in commission and make money, you got to move and you got to groove. That's it. That's the way it works.
Think of it as a flat rate.
Yeah.
When you go out on that job, it's like, I'm only making $100. I need to make more money. I can't sit here all day.
Exactly.
Right.
You guys, I mean, in the bid calculator I've given you guys, I mean, shows you what you can make on the job, and you know what the hours should be on the job, or you should. Even if the job is sold by Kevin or somebody else or Sarah and it's flipped to you, that should be communicated. Hey, I sold this job. This is how long it should take. This is what I think I could do it in. So this is what you should be able to do it in, right? That's the job, and that's how you're getting paid. So if you say, hey, it says it should take you 6 hours, 8 hours, 2 days, whatever it is, you need to make every effort to make that happen in that time or less. Because if you can do that, you'll make money. And then you'll be happy because the next job, hey, well, that worked. I can make money again and make money again. So I just want to throw that out at you guys for those of you who don't know, but that's what this is about. There's the potential to make a ton of money, but you've got to be busting your butt for it. It's not going to just be given to you. Okay? Cool?
One other thing, in that vein, when you guys are on a job, there's one guy who's typically, and it could be split, but there's one guy who's getting paid on the service value. And you're costing him money. So you have to realize I'm not your boss at that point in time, he is, whoever that individual is.
Or she.
Or she, of course. And, thank you. And that's important to understand that what's gonna happen if you shuffle your feet, if you're standing around not doing anything, or not even trying, that person's gonna basically has the right to say, you know what, that person's too slow, that person's inefficient, that person's not hustling, I don't want them on my jobs. And guess what? If you get a reputation like that in any company, nobody's gonna want you on their job. So it's really important that you get that, Mr. Hustle. That's when I was an apprentice, everybody knew, man, that kid hustles. Like, everybody wanted me on their truck. People were fighting over me, literally. And that's how I learned, because I got the best, I was in a big company. I worked for George Brazil. And there was 20-some trucks out of that shop in Santa Ana in the main shop. And literally all the journeymen were like, nah, I want Kevin, nah, I want Kevin. Like, and and that's why I learned what I learned, is I had the best guys, I got to pick who I was gonna work for. I was that badass. And it was just, I didn't know jack, I didn't even know what a pair of channel locks were, but I had hustle. And that's what your people are looking for, is people with hustle. And when you earn their respect, they will take the time, when they have the time, to train you. And you gotta realize you're being paid to learn a trade. It's like you're going to a university without getting debt, you're actually getting paid. And most people come out of university and can't even get a job, you know, so, and you're gonna be in a trade where you're in high demand. So keep that in the back of your mind, like when if you're thinking, hey, I'm making this much money and that ain't cutting it, and I'm worth more, and la 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 la. You know, think about that guy who's paying 20 grand a year just to go to school, and he's not getting paid, okay? He's going into debt, okay? Just for the hope that when he gets out in 4 years, he's gonna get a job. So this is a golden opportunity. If you just look at it that way, you approach it that way, and you just be that person. So anyway, that's it.
All right, very good. Let's do it. Let's get to work.